Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a 2024 Mazda CX-5 Carbon Edition. This is the new version of the Carbon Edition, and I think you guys are going to be really impressed with the packaging. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Orem Mazda here in Orem, Utah for giving me some time with this car. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 227 horsepower and then 310 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 22 around town and then 27 on the highway. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see you've got kind of like softer lines there on either side, and then notice how the hood's all flat. Now, popping down below, we've got the CX-5 signature headlights here. I love how sharp those look. And then notice the grille is darker in coloration. You got the Mazda logo there, by the way, front and center. And then I love how this is also darker as well. And then same thing with the trim at the bottom. It's all painted. And when you put it all together, it looks really sharp. The contrast between the lighter and darker elements look great. Cover on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 225, 55, 19 in the front and over in the rear. And then you guys can see with the wheels, darker coloration as well to continue that theme. Now notice that all the bodywork here is painted and it's black to contrast the white. That looks really good. Same thing with the mirror caps as well. And here's your full side view with the Mazda CX-5. Again, you guys can see the contrast with the lighter and the darker elements. It looks really sharp. Now here's a quick look at the key fob. We've got the Mazda logo there, front and center, lock and unlock function. We've got the opening for the hatch as well, and well, let's pop her open. Now in normal CX-5 fashion, we've got quite a bit of storage space here in the back. That's one of the big benefits of the CX-5. You also have these latches to help with throwing down the seats, which is another big plus. And then underneath here, we got a spare tire as well. And then you guys can see the netting for the rear. And when you're all done, just press this button and that will lower the hatch right back down. Really sharp looking taillights here on the back end, and you guys can see all the rest of the badges here. And then notice with the exhaust tips there in silver at the bottom, and then the rest of the trim's blacked out. But putting it all together, let me know what you guys think about the looks here on this carbon turbo, especially with the bottom portion being blacked out. And now taking a look at the door panel here in the rear, you guys can see all the soft touch here, and then also down below. And look at the stitching that goes across, and then I love this trim right there. And then look at these two-tone seats, really sharp looking. This is the terracotta interior. And sitting in the back here, legroom's pretty solid. Got a little storage pocket there. Got some vents here for the rear passengers. By the way, these are really comfortable for those of you that are wondering. But anyways, headroom back here is also good. And last but not least, we have our cup holder, center console, armrest, whatever you want to call it. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see here with the soft touch, and then look at the stitching that goes across. All of our window controls here, door lock and unlock with the mirror adjustment, and then you guys can see again with the trim there at the top, and then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. Now here's a look at the front seat. Again, you guys can see two-tone with the coloration, looks really good. You've got your memory seat function there with your power adjustments as well, and then you've got this for the lane departure, that's to open up the hatch. Gas cap release with the hood latch release as well. Now here's a look at the steering wheel. Really nice material use all around. We got paddle shifters in the back for that 6-speed automatic with adaptive cruise control controls for the center stack on top of that. And yeah, just like the overall look. And then you got your regular stocks there on the back. Now here's the gauge cluster. You got the 3-gauge layout here, and there's some different menus we can scroll through to see different bits of info on systems within the vehicle itself. And I almost forgot, we got the drive mode select with our sport, normal, and our off-road mode we can go between. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera here. You guys can see the trajectory lines, and resolution is pretty solid. Now as for the infotainment system, this is Mazda's normal system, so you control everything with a dial. It's not a touchscreen, but this has wireless Apple CarPlay, and if you have Apple CarPlay activated, then the Apple CarPlay functions like a touchscreen, so I think that that part of it is really cool. Soft touch here at the top, as you can see, and then look at the trim right there, and then with the vents and all that. Really cool design touch. And then we do have dual zone climate as well as heated and ventilated seats. And then down below you guys can see the wireless phone charging pad. We have our shifter for that 6-speed automatic, and then you've got your drive mode select right next to it. And then this is the analog control stack, or rather the control stack for the infotainment system. Again, outside of Apple CarPlay, it's not a touch screen. Some cup holder action right here, and then look at the center console. Nice trim there. Got some USB action in there, USB-Cs, by the way. But yeah, I really like the padding on the top of that. And of course, got to show the glove box because, well, it's first off lined with felt and pretty decent with the storage space. And then last but not least, we do have a sunroof here at the top. Control for it just right there. So sorry about the glare, it's gonna be kind of hard to see the window sticker, but anyways, 2024 CX-5. This is a 2.5 carbon turbo, if you're wondering what the package is called, and then you've got the terracotta black interior. Bunch of standard equipment, base MSRP is $37,000 after a few options, and destination $39,240, so this is under $40,000 for all of this. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood and hope you can see the heads-up display now. Both the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring. Throughout the rest of the rear. I really like these seats, by the way. But yeah, let's set off here in this CX-5. So shout out to Josh at the Mazda dealership. He's the one that brought this up to me. I didn't even know they had this thing. And he's like, you got to see this. And now we're seeing it. And so thank you to him. Anyway, yeah, and so if you're looking for a new Mazda, make sure to ask for him. Let's set off and see what this drives like. So first off, seat comfort's really good. Something I've noticed as a car reviewer is when automakers have these perforated inserts and then they have like a kind of slightly different setup on the outside of the seat, it actually makes the seats more comfortable because the material isn't as stretched out. So hopefully that makes sense. This is important because if the material's not as stretched out, then that means that you're able to get more of the padding that's underneath. And so it's just, these seats feel more comfortable is what I've noticed, and that's kind of what I'm getting to. So I really like how these seats feel. And then ride quality is really good too. Now Mazda is obviously trying to go for the luxury car market with the CX-5, and you know, I think when you compare this to some of the competition in this size segment, I think that it definitely accomplishes a lot of that. It's pretty similar in terms of ride quality to cars in this segment, and we'll see what the power is like. But the interior is definitely there. Fit and finish, the design. I mean, this feels like a luxury car. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I've seen some car journalists say that they're like, Mazdas feel just like Hondas and Toyotas, and it's like, have you actually reviewed cars lately? Because that's not the case. Also, I like this on the side, the terracotta stitching. It looks, I don't know, it looks cool if you ask me. Some other stuff about this interior is just like all the touch points are nice for the most part. You do have some plastic parts, but I mean, most luxury cars nowadays have plastic parts. Also, I guess we're gonna have to wait until I am able to turn to the side to get a little bit of an acceleration. I didn't realize the traffic was gonna be this bad, so sorry about that, but don't worry, we'll get a feel for this turbo. But yeah, what I was saying is, you know, there are some of these bits that are still plastic, but I will say they don't feel cheap, if that makes sense. It is plastic, but it feels like it's well built, and there's a nice like feel to the parts overall. It doesn't feel like it's something that's gonna fall apart like in a man, this is bad. But again, like in GM products, like their plastic pieces, they don't feel as like well built, which is so weird to say about plastic because it's plastic. But yeah, there is that. We'll get kind of a little acceleration here. We'll get another one in a second, but man, love the feel of turbo. Obviously, it's all about torque, right? Torque figure is way higher than the horsepower figure, so it shifts early and everything, and you can definitely feel that torque shove. That is for sure. Yeah, it's a turbo CX-5, that's for sure. So summing things up, I really like this package. I think it looks great on the outside. Tons of nice luxury features. I mean, like, honestly, there's nothing this car needs. This is such a good value, under $40,000. With the performance you get, the looks you get, the features you get, I don't think that luxury car or non-luxury car can really beat this. Everything from BMW and Audi and Mercedes, in the size segment is more expensive. And I mean, with 227 horsepower, you can get 250 if you do premium, 320 pound-feet of torque if you do premium fuel. Like, that is more than enough. I mean, you're talking, it's right there with all the luxury car automakers, and it's a Mazda, so it's actually reliable. Like, just go to any Mazda dealership, talk to their service department, and ask them, how many engines have you replaced? How many of this? And they're going to tell you, like, we don't, like, yeah, every so often, but like the reliability of these cars is really appealing too. So like under $40,000, I'm going to go on a limb here and say probably the best car you could buy. Let me know your thoughts.